What's up, everybody? It's John with ACTION-FLIX.com coming at you with another edition of the Action-FLIX podcast. And as you can see, the gentleman to my right, this is a very special episode of the Action-FLIX podcast because it's the hat trick. That's right. Action legend, martial arts maestro, stunt coordinator, fight choreographer. He just looks good doing anything that he does. Daniel Bernhardt is joining us today to talk Deathstalker and some stuff. Daniel, how you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing, John? And thank you for having me. It was so funny. I logged on and I go, exclusive interview, action legend Daniel Bernhardt talks Deathstalker and more. I was like, yay.
Well, one, you earned it, and two, we got to pump it up, right?
Yeah.
I'm just not going to put Daniel Bernhardt on it and just be like, hey, Daniel Bernhardt. No, you're listen, you're a living legend. You're an icon. Listen, I like Scott Adkins, Marco Zaror, you. I mean,
good friends of mine. Good friends of mine.
Although
I love those guys.
I know you've worked with Marco, but have you worked with Scott? I mean, I know you guys are
actually Scott, Marco, and myself did a movie together called Killer's Game.
Right.
Directed by our good friend JJ Perry.
Of course, yeah. And I'm looking at, I want to interview him one time too. I'm yet to.
Oh, he's the best.
Absolutely.
He's a very. I'll hook you up. He's a very good friend of mine. I love him very much.
Oh, that would be awesome. But you guys weren't in the same scenes together. I mean, you guys were
no. We were just playing separate characters. But you know, Scott and I love Scott. He loves me. I love Marco. He loves me. We were just when the three of us were together, you have no idea, John. It was hilarious. Okay. We became like best friends. It was like we couldn't pass a mirror without flexing. We were so silly. We were like 12-year-olds.
Well, I'd be flexing too if I had it, but I don't.
That's why I wear we were actually pitching Chad. We were pitching Chad. Hey, you got to do a film with the three of us. Come on, make it happen.
Yes. Listen, that's the thing. Like I don't know what's up with studio execs nowadays, but it's like they need to listen to us. Like we always say, like I always go on my friend's podcast and myself. I like listen, you three doing a movie together, that would just be action cinema gold. I mean,
Three amigos.
There you go.
There you go. We have the movie. I think we just came up with it. We just got to come up with a plot. What happens? We'll go to a foreign country and chaos.
We'll just blow it up, blow shit up for 90, 100 minutes. But okay, of course we're talking about Deathstalker. I just watched it last night. Holy shit, Daniel! I'm a product of the late 70s and 80s and 90s, so you know where I'm coming from. So we'll get to that in a second, but I just kind of wanted to go over. You've been a busy boy, and since we last talked, you've been doing a lot of good. The one cool thing I will say about this, though, is because like a lot of the movies I've been seeing you in, you're the henchman, you're the guy that does the fight. This time you're headlining like you should be, so that's awesome. But we'll get into that. So I wanted to talk to you first about Ballerina. Coming back to the John Wick universe. It's funny though because you're Kirill in the first one, and of course you died, which was sad. I thought.
Who said I died?
Oh, well, okay.
Did you ever see me die? In my opinion, I passed out. He choked me.
You know what? You're okay. You're correct. So could that be the same character that is fighting Ana de Armas?
I don't know.
Anyway, listen. Anyway,
I pitched that to Chad. I said to Chad, but Chad, I didn't die. Why would I die? He just choked me. You don't die by I got choked. He didn't break my neck. He goes like, "You dead." I was like, "No, I don't know.
Well,
Who knows?"
Let's go with the assumption that you're not. But anyway, coming back to that world, and of course now you took on Keanu Reeves, and now you got Ana de Armas. Man, I love this movie. She put in the work. Holy crap!
She was amazing, wasn't she?
Yeah. So talk about working with her and doing that fight scene was awesome. Of course, again, you're on the short stick of it because you're the bad guy, but that's okay.
But you know what? It was just amazing. I was very lucky to be part of that project, and Chad produced it, and I was lucky enough to be part of it. And our fight coordinator, Jackson Spidell, and our stunt coordinator, Stephen Dunleavy, they invited me to come. I flew to, I think it was Prague. Yeah, we went to Prague, and we rehearsed the fights. They showed me the fight scene. It was amazing. And then they introduced me to Anna. I had to rehearse with Anna. And it was so funny. I met Anna and I went up to her and I said, "Hey, Anna, I'm Daniel Bernhardt. Pleasure to meet you." Yeah. And I said, I want that picture. Where'd you get that?
That's on the IMDb page, the ballerina IMDb
What?
page.
I've never
Yes.
seen it.
That's
So
where I found it. Yeah.
I said to Anna, I said, Anna, I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm going to be all over you. I'm going to smack you around. Because she had to put like a triangle on me and I'm half blind and I'm fond. I'm trying to choke her. So, and she goes like, "Oh, that's so funny. Don't even worry about it." She was just the sweetest girl. She was unbelievable, super professional. And I was actually really blown away how good she was. I mean, she went for it. I mean, she wasn't holding back. When she whacked me in the head with that little lamp, whatever it was, that candle holder, she whacked me in the head. And I was like, she goes, "Is that okay?" I said, "You go for it, girl. I mean, you're doing great." She killed it.
She did, and like I said, your fight scene, like it was fast, it was furious. I mean, and again, I just like I said, like she could be the next female action star. She could be like, because like I mean, I know she does all different types of genres, and she's big with the dramatic roles and everything.
Right.
But I think she found her niche.
I mean,
here.
she was nominated for an Academy Award.
She was, yes. Let's
You know?
not deny her that. Yes, exactly.
That's pretty. It doesn't get much better than that, right?
Right. So, but how did it feel coming full circle? You started with the first John Wick, and now you're coming back to the world. How was it? Just like we were just like, I got this. It's like no problem. It's like
No. I mean, I never feel like this. I never.
Okay.
I think it's a very dangerous mistake. I every project I get, I put 100% in it. It's very important to me. I love what I do. I'm very blessed. That I get these opportunities. I've been doing this for 30 years, a long time. And
I've been watching you for 30 years.
So. Yeah. I'm very, very lucky the opportunities I'm getting. So you never want to phone it in. You never want to. It's just you show up, you train really hard, you study really hard, you do the best you can, and that's all you can do. And I do that, on every film.
Exactly. Like, listen, like you look phenomenal, man. I don't want to make your head like huge or anything, but you look like you did back in like when you're doing True Vengeance or Perfect Target. I mean, you have not aged. On the other hand, like I mean, yeah, there's some, yeah, listen, I got that, whatever. But it's like you like watching you in Deathstalker. Oh my God. It's just like, I was like, you're like born again. And it's just so awesome to see you still getting these opportunities, because there was a lot of direct to video action stars back in the day, when VHS was booming and DVD and stuff like that. But to see you rise and like, because that's how we know you're legit. You know what I'm saying?
I have to say I'm very grateful for. Look, I work very hard, but then there's something else. I think you have to. I live a great life. I'm very grateful in life. I do a lot of really good things. I have a lot of great friends. I give a lot back to community. I rescue dogs. I have great friends, and I'm very fortunate to be in this world of the Chad Stahelskis, the David Leitches, the J.J. Perrys, the James Bamfords, all these guys who keep hiring me, and I'm just very, very lucky,
And it's great that you mentioned all those guys, because that's like the trope that I'm loving these days, is former stunt professionals or action directors becoming directors themselves, because who better to direct an action movie than somebody who's cut their teeth in the industry and knows how it should be shot? Because how many times have we seen like big budget action movies and it's just like, holy cow, what did I just see? It's like, nobody. And I even talked to Scott Adkins the last time I was talking to him. He was just like, he was on a set of one particular movie. He was just like, what are you guys doing? And it's just like, it's so good that there's this trend now of these guys getting the opportunity to showcase what they can do behind the camera.
100%. And I totally agree with this. And, it's a tricky one for the action directors now to direct, because look, I love action. I've been doing action my whole life, but also what's really important is story. So that's something we have to work on now too, because story is really important. Like when I direct action, for me, the story in the action is as important as the motion itself. So this is something Chad and we always talk about. It's very, very important. All of this is not as important. It's important, the in-betweens, the looks, the dialogue, the reactions. Look at Bruce Lee.
Yep.
What do you remember? He does a spinning kick, a roundhouse kick, but what you really remember is when he stops and he poses and he goes like this. You remember those moments, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And like Van Damme was good at that too. Like,
Van Damme was awesome. He was just like, bah!
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why when you did Bloodsport 2 and Bloodsport 3, you were the perfect person to succeed him in those movies, because it was just like you even did that. You were like, I'm like, he was
a great inspiration. He was, look, when I got Bloodsport 2, I was 30. I think I was 30 years old. I got it when I was about 28. Then it took a couple of years. It was like yes, no, yes, no. I was training with Grandmaster Heel Cho, worked on my Taekwondo, the kicks. I went to acting class, studied really hard. But look, I did the best I could at the time, and it was amazing. And he was an incredible inspiration. You know, he did so good in the first Bloodsport, and he did so good in Kickboxer. And it's obviously it's not that I wanted to copy him, but he was a great inspiration. And also, you know, there was a road lined out for you, and I didn't want to do completely something else. And you know, this is how we fight. That's how I fight. And I think in Bloodsport 2, if you go back and look at it, the fights actually in Bloodsport 2 are really, really good.
Can I say something? And this might be an unpopular opinion with most people. I think your fights in Bloodsport 2 and 3 are better than the ones that they did in the original.
Yeah, but I agree, and that, you know, that's nothing really bad. I think it's nothing really bad, but also
no. I don't want to throw shade on the original.
You know, no disrespect to the first Bloodsport, but from when the first Bloodsport was done until the second Bloodsport, fight scenes evolved.
The evolution. Yes,
evolution, exactly. Because all the Hong Kong action came to America, and when we did Bloodsport 2, so now this is you gotta love this. My dear friend Philip Tan was the fight coordinator and stunt coordinator. Did an amazing job choreographing all the fights. He's awesome. He's still in the game today. His son
Louis Tan, has
become like a famous actor. And this is so cute. I just saw him the other day. I saw him at the Nobody 2 premiere, and it was so beautiful. Louis had a photo of me and him sitting on the Kumite floor when he was 5 years old.
That's awesome.
And today, he's become a star. I mean, I just love it. But anyhow, to go back to the fight scenes. So Philip, we brought in Chad. Chad was already a friend of mine, Chad Stahelski at the time. We brought in Chad. And then Philip asked Chad, because he's a very similar build like I am, to choreograph my fight scene with him. So the fight scene I do with Chad was choreographed by Chad Stahelski. You didn't know that, did you?
Yes, I did. Of course I did.
Oh, you did?
I did. We talked about it the first time. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, good. Then I repeated myself.
No. But, please. That's totally fine. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then because of that, we hired him to do Bloodsport 3. Then he did True Vengeance, Perfect Target. And then his career just kind of like went crazy doing Matrix and The Crow. I continued my little movies. But we're still friends after 30 years, which is amazing.
And it's just great, like how, like, he's, of course, he's got 8711. David Leitch has 87 North, and they're able. It's like they respect the industry and you guys, and they still give you guys. Listen, that's like they could put anybody in these movies, but they know talent and they've worked with the best, so why not put the best in their movies? So that's why these guys should be applauded for like keeping action, keep alive.
And 100%, and also what's really important is, me from my side, I have to grow. So I'm working with other people. I'm trying to do the best I can. I go to acting class. I learn new martial arts. I learn weapons. So when Chad or Dave or Garrett Warren or J.J. Perry or James Bamford or any of those guys, when they have a movie, that I have no problem reaching out to them and I go, hey guys, what about me? We call that a hustle.
Yeah. Listen, no, it's not, because why not you? It's like you what?
Yeah, but
like
I'm fighting for jobs. I'm telling you, I'm fighting.
I know,
for
and
jobs.
I feel that's so wrong in so many different ways.
Well, but then let's go back to Deathstalker. So Deathstalker was a little different situation. I got a call from my buddy Michael, who I've worked with in the past. We did a movie like back in the like mid 90s. He calls me up and he goes, "Hey Daniel," excuse me. He goes, "Hey Daniel, we got this franchise called Deathstalker. Are you familiar with it?" I said, "Yeah, of course. I remember it from back in the day." And he goes, "We're doing this movie. Steven Kostanski's directing, and Steven really wants you." I go, "Yeah, I'm in." So he put me on the call. He put me on a Zoom call with Steven. I meet Steven on Zoom. We're having this great conversation, and he goes, "Hey Daniel, yeah, that's my brother Steven. Yeah, have you interviewed him?"
No, I have not had the opportunity.
You should. I'll hook you up with him.
Please do. I'll interview anybody and everybody. Yeah, of course.
He's I love, and it's actually funny. It's actually funny if you interview us together, it's hysterical.
That's what I was going to try to do. It just didn't work out.
It's really funny. So Steven goes, "Hey, look, Daniel, I'm doing this movie Deathstalker. My background here, check out some of my movies. He did The Void, a whole bunch of films, Frankie Frico, and I checked out
Psycho Gorman is a chef's
Psycho
kiss.
Gorman.
That's like
I watched his films, and I loved his work. And I mean, he's like so unique, so special. And I signed up, and we agreed to do this together. And he pitched me the idea, and he goes, "Look, Danny, I want you to fight these monsters. I build all the monsters. There's a guy with 2 heads. There's a swamp monster. You have a sword, and you do some spinning kicks." And I was like, damn, I was in. So I trained really, really hard because the world that I was in, and I take my job very seriously, I wanted to get as big as I could. I wanted to gain size. So I thought about Arnold Schwarzenegger in Conan. So I worked out like a maniac, and I gained about 10 pounds. I went to 220 pounds.
You like
I'm like 210. I'm like 210 now, but
you look for phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
I went like
you're a testament.
But I was much bigger than now.
Okay.
And I got really big, and it was so nice. I worked so hard. Went to the gym, did sword fighting. The producers wanted me to choreograph the fights, and I said, absolutely not. No way. I'm gonna bring in the best people I can. So I brought 2 of our guys from 8711. I brought Lee and Shane in. They're former Shaolin monks, incredible with swords, incredible with choreography. And they kind of took over the action, and they choreographed the fights, showed them to me, then we showed them to the director. And of course, Steve was like, I love it. We did previses.
So you brought in 8711 flavor for this one.
I did.
That's great. I
did.
Give them their full names. Give them a shout out. What's their full names?
Don't.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to put
Leah Jane.
There you go. That's good.
I cannot pronounce your last names. I have to look it up.
No worries. All right, so so going back to we talked about again. I'm going to get to Deathstalker, but that's going to be the culmination. But I just want to, because of course I got to talk about Nobody 2. Again, you came back to that, which was awesome. You know, of course you were in the first one with the bus fight, but you, sir, got the rocket next to a legend herself. Oh my God, Sharon Stone, and a really cute pooch, by the way.
Yeah, there's actually, unfortunately, that's the only picture they gave me. There was such a great picture of me and her in the car, and they never gave it to me. But Sharon was just awesome.
But that's the only one I could have found, which kind of sucked.
I know I was
looking for more to pop up here, but yeah, that's the only one. But that was and I love the fact that because in the first one, of course, you turned Bob Odenkirk into a beast. You trained him for. Of course, you're his trainer for Nobody and Nobody 2, and he never stopped working out after the first one. He never did, and he became this freaking awesome fighting specimen on screen. Yeah.
And he's become a good friend.
Yeah.
He's become a good friend. I love Bob. Bob is awesome. And he's a very special guy. He works harder than anybody.
And I love your character because you got a more meatier role. You know, you were her main henchman. You know, you got the fight scene with RZA at the end, which a little nitpick, just a little too short for my taste. I would have liked it to.
Yeah, I wish it could have been a little longer. But you know what? RZA was awesome. Oh, yeah, it's all about time. You know, we just didn't have more time.
I know. Yeah.
And you know, Bob is the star, and he had all these other fight scenes and. But I was grateful. I had a fight scene with RZA, and RZA did great. I remember that. never bring katana to a sword fight or something like that.
Yeah.
So never bring a machete to a sword fight, or some line like that, which was awesome.
Yeah, and it was just cool to just, I mean, you see, you get that moment at the end, you know, to see you get that little, you know, like fight scene with them. All right, but now let's talk about Deathstalker. Okay, so again, like I said, I'm a product of the 80s. I am Roger Corman. Oh my God, he flooded the gates, you know, back in the day with his brand. And then, like, let me pop it up here because I have it on my thumbnail. When I saw the initial image, the one to the far left, that's what they showed first when they started promoting this. And this went through a successful crowdfunding campaign too, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't really know how they did all of that, so I was not involved in all of that.
Absolutely.
I
but
just
they
had
released
to sign some autographs.
Right. They released that first image, and all myself as well as many others lost their collective shit. We were just like, what is this? And then there's that, like, I hope this gets made because this could be the best thing ever. And of course, it's the best thing. So you already elaborated kind of how you got attached to the role, but just like tell us because what I like about it, they call it a reboot, but it's not. I mean, this could be just kind of like in the timeline of Deathstalker. Like this could just take place like after the initial set of films, and then you're you know, you're a little older, you're a little bit more wiser to the world and everything, and it could be like a continuation. No,
yeah, and that's probably something when you talk to Steven, he's just so, you know, I give all the credit to my director. This movie is 100% Steven Kostanski. I'm just a little puppet. I'm one of his puppets. Some he built. This one he moves around a little bit. He just did such a freaking great job.
Go ahead.
He did so good. He was such a great director. He was a dream to work with. You know, he delivers this incredible script. And then, you know, he has these crazy ideas. He builds these monsters. This movie was handmade.
Yes.
The matte paintings. I mean, do you remember those beautiful matte paintings? I mean, I could do a whole movie just with matte paintings. I loved it so much.
And you got the Ray Harryhausen type stuff going on with the skeletons fighting. I mean, they put all that in
stop
there
motion. And that, again, is Lee and Shane, my two fight guys. They actually choreographed that fight and performed it, and then our director used their performance.
No shit.
That's their performance and made stop motion out of it.
That's awesome. And of course, then we have Slash from Guns N' Roses, and he does
cool.
He's executive producing, but then listen, okay, so I'm just gonna say, like, I went to see Tron Ares over the weekend, and while, you know, there's flaws with it, but at the same time, there's nothing wrong with the soundtrack. I think like Rockstar should do the soundtrack for action movies from now on, because you got 9 Inch Nails and then you got Slash doing. This is the perfect soundtrack. I mean, they took the original from the second film and just amped it up with like guitar riffs and everything, and it just goes well with the movie. It's just awesome.
It's awesome. And then also, I don't know if you noticed, but there's also, when you talk to Nina, she did a great song at the very end. That's her performing.
I just saw it last night. I got to watch it like 10 more times. And
I watched it 3. And you know what's really funny about this movie? I watch it 3 times now, and every time it gets better.
Well, I'm going to get out to Nina.
All these little things, and if you get, where do you live?
I'm in Panama City Beach, Florida, sir.
Beach, Florida.
Yes, Panama City Beach. Yeah, so if you ever want to come on vacation, come on down. I'll show you.
Yeah, but I remember a place somewhere in Florida. Just look up if it plays in a radius of 30 miles. Go see it in the theater. It is spectacular at the theater.
I'd listen, anytime all these movies get like limited releases and stuff like that, it's like I always look up at it, and it's like I didn't see it playing anywhere near me, so it might be like further from.
But they're re-releasing it, so it's played on like 30 screens or across the country or something like that. It's going to get pulled from some, but it's going to get re-released on other screens. So just keep looking out.
Absolutely, of course, I'll support. Listen, I'll go see it at the movies. I'm gonna buy the digital. I'm gonna buy the physical media when it comes out. I'm like, I am all in on this. So let's talk about the action. Okay, so now you said you had your friends choreographing it, which I love because you're able to get your martial arts fix in here too at the same time. You get to see you do your thing, but at the same time, sword fighting, which we did see, like you had G2 Mortal Conquest, that you did some sorts of stuff of that. But this is, and then at the end they give a shout out to Sword of the Sorcerer, the Light of Talon, the sword with one more blade on it, not 3 blades, but 4 blades. So just talk about doing the fight scenes and just how does it differentiate from what you've done in the past?
This is so funny. People always go, "Oh my God, you did sword fighting." I'm like, I've been sword fighting my whole life.
I know.
This is something I've done, working with 80, 70, 11. And, I dabbled always in between the stunt world and the acting world. Mm-hmm. There were so many movies where we were sword fighting, and I can't even remember all the movies we did. Sometimes I worked as a stuntman. Sometimes I think I was part of doing all the previses for, it was all sword fighting. It was for the Chris Hemsworth film with Charlize Theron.
He did.
It's like a period piece.
Oh, good.
Snow White and there's something Snow White.
Oh, yes, Snow White and the Huntsman. Yes. Snow
White and the Huntsman.
Yes, so thank you. I love that movie. I
love that movie too. I was part of the previous gang. There was a lot of sword fighting. Mm-hmm. We did some sword fighting for one of Keanu's movies. I mean, I did so much. Sword fighting is something that's part of my martial arts. I've always done, always loved it. Right. So when this came about, it was just like, I'm like, okay. But that's why when I brought in Lee and Shane had just a different way of sword fighting, because I thought that my character could have been traveling the world, not just learning your traditional standard sword fighting, bring in some Asian flair, bring in some Nordic flair, bring in some German flair, bring in a little bit of a worldly flair.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I love, because of course there's been countless movies with sword fighting in it, but it's trying to keep it fresh and trying to do different things with it. And in this movie, it's like it's just great to see you wielding a sword again, because that's just freaking awesome. But it's just like the different ways that it's shown on screen and stuff like that. So that's why congratulate you guys, for being able, because again, budget wise, of course nobody has Disney money, and but it's like what you're able to do, and the gore of this movie, like the beginning of this movie, like after all the production companies are shown on screen, you get this guy's head getting ripped off and just blood spewing at the camera. It's like the best opening ever.
And you know what? I talked to Steven about that. When I saw it for the first time, I was like, holy damn. I was like, Steven, what? He goes, well, Daniel, I want people to know right away in what kind of movie they are. And that's what he did.
I'm in. I was like,
everybody said the same thing. I'm in. I thought his opening is outstanding. And Steven came up to me like this whole opening. He goes, are you okay? I have a question for you. Are you okay if I don't show your face for like
I was going to talk to you about that. Yes.
That's Steven's idea. And he came up to me and he asked me if I'm okay with that. I was like, Steven, come on. You're the director. This is your movie. I'm here for you.
Yeah, so because let's talk about best heroic entrance ever, like because you see the death on the field, there was a big battle and everything, and then you just see your silhouette in the distance, and then they show your feet walk, and then you feel the thunderous of your feet stomping the ground, and you take out your sword. Like best introduction ever.
It's pretty cool. And
then the guy's like spewed blood. He's like, oh, thank you. So you're taking the ring. You're like robbing him. It's like it's the greatest. It's like maybe he's not so heroic after all.
What is wrong with me?
Right.
Like first I grab his hand, I go like this.
And you think like, oh, he's gonna help him up.
And he goes like, oh, and then I go, I take the ring.
And then you take the other ring, and then you're looking into his pockets. And of course, the amulet, which plays key into the movie, you take. But yeah, you don't see your face until well after 8 or 9 minutes. Like you go into the tavern, and then when the guy's talking about you, then you turn around, and that's the first that because we don't need to see your face. It's like we know if for mainstream audiences, it's that air of mystery. It's like, oh, okay, who's this guy and everything, and it's just like, and I love how you just turn around and it's like. That was a chef's kiss.
That was really cool.
Yeah,
That's what he wanted, and Steven is so visual, and I gotta give a shout out to our DP Andy. I mean, he freaking killed it. The first scene in the movie was the first real scene in the film was when we did actually the opening, the first fight scene with the Trellites. And that's a fight scene we choreographed very, very well. And we rehearsed it very, very well because we knew it's the opening. We did a previs in Canada, which was actually very, very, very good. And it just was smoking. And then when we shot it, like we're doing this fight scene with the Trellites, and the DP goes, "Come on over. I want you to see how this actually looks in real."
right.
And he puts the LUT on. And I was like, whoa. I was like, damn, I know in what kind of movie I am now. Yeah.
It's like, and it's like it like Stephen Costanza, he gets the assignment. You could tell what he's a product of too, and what he's like grown up with and everything. And it's funny because you mentioned the because this is practical effects, which again, I'm a fan.
Practical, yeah.
I'm old school, baby. So it's like practical effects, stunt work, CGI. Yes, it's there for a reason, but if you could do a practical, go practical because there's nothing better. But I just wanted to every day on set filming, there's some of the most horrific nightmare fuel looking creatures in this movie, and were you just after a while they're like, hey, okay, now fight this one, you were just like, yeah, what the hell, okay, let's go with it.
I mean, when I showed up the first day and I walked through his shop and I saw the stone man, I saw the two-headed monster, I saw the swamp monster. I was just like, I mean, that was I forgot his name.
This guy's my favorite too. Yeah, with the glaive that he's throwing at you.
Yeah, cool. He was amazing too. And I was just like, I mean, I was fascinated by it. I love all that stuff.
Yeah, and they're like, go ahead. Yep.
And then Steven, because he does this all the time, so he has special performers who actually work in the suits. And those guys, we got to give a shout out to those guys. They were amazing. The guy with the two heads
at the beginning. Yeah, these guys are assassins. Like all these guys are assassins, but they're like otherworldly. Yeah, and they have two heads, and they're like bickering with each other.
It was hysterical, and the guy who played him, he was amazing. I mean, he's acting. He had this little peephole to look through to do the fight scene. I mean, it was crazy.
So. Okay, let's talk about the anticipate. Now, obviously, we want this to become a franchise, do we not? We want to see you with long hair, whipping the Light of Talon around. Well, it never got destroyed, so we never know.
Because Doodad went like, ow.
Let's talk about Doodad. Oh my God, it's an actress playing the actual physical
Lori,
but then of course Patton Oswalt does the voice for it. But that camaraderie is awesome too.
Yeah, here's the beautiful thing about it, and I don't know if that was done purposely by Steven or just by accident. In the script, Doodad was written as male. Doodad, the actor who performed Doodad was a female.
Her name is Lori Field. Doodad.
Yeah, so Lori, she performed Doodad, and somehow, because now I'm bickering with a female, the energy was different than it would have been a man. And I think in retrospect, that was brilliant, because I think if it would have been a man, I would have been probably a little harder, but because it was a female, it was a little more genuine and a little more softer. And then having Patton's voice on it, now male again, it gave such an incredible dynamic. Now, I don't know if that was done purposely by the director or if it was just a genuine accident,
So when you were acting on set, it was her voice, no? Then they added Patton's later, correct?
Of course. He was acting with me. We had full-blown, the whole acting. We did the full acting scenes, and we talked and talked and talked. And then Patton just overlaid the voice. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And now let's talk about Christina Orhalo. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. She plays Brisbane, who's a thief who teams up with you. And again, I'm so happy because a lot of times you get in these movies like the ally or the comrade or the the person that tags along can be annoying. But she's awesome and she brings her own energy to it. I just love, again, and that's the thing. Like, this is a totally bombastic, goofy, over the top movie. Let's make no mistake about it, but in the best way possible. But your chemistry with this little, doodad, then you got her, and it works. That's what's so awesome about it.
That, honestly, again, that's all Steven Kasansky. It's really his. This is like his soup. How all the ingredients is he put in, or pizza, whatever you want to call it, or pie. That's him. I mean, I'm just one of his pawns. I show up prepared. I give my 5 cents. I mean, and actually, you may enjoy this. I'm good friends with Bob Odenkirk because of our relationship from Nobody.
Right.
So when he heard about me doing Deathstalker, he was super excited. He goes, "Look, Daniel, people love those kind of movies." He goes, let me read your script. I want to read the first 15 pages and just let me give you my little advice."
Right.
He read the script. He calls me up and he goes, "Look, Daniel, people love those kind of movies. But here's the kicker. Do not play the joke. You play this straight. Don't play the joke." And I think it actually worked. It was great advice from him, And it was just, I mean, this movie was just, like I said earlier, I've been doing this for 30 years. And I would say in the past, I would be much more like, trying to figure it out. Somehow I just, I started to put on, the wig on and put the clothing on. And shout out to our wardrobe department. And what the costume was handmade. It was just incredible. It was just incredible what they did. So I was very lucky to be part of that franchise. I said franchise.
Listen, I would take 20 of these movies as long as you could. Now, let me ask you this, okay? Now, you mentioned, now, of course, you mentioned you did mention a little bit of why, you love your job, you love what you've been able to do. Okay, so let me ask you this: what it's like doing action movies, and whether it's a smaller role where you're a henchman, or now, again, I think you better headline more movies from now on, because you got that it factor, my friend. But what excites you about coming to the set, and or what different excites you now that it back in the day, if you know what I'm saying?
So, I've always loved cinema. I've loved cinema since I was a little kid. For me, the greatest thing was always going to the movie theaters. The lights go down, the curtain opens up, and you're in a different world. And I never forget that. Even as a kid, I was just so special. And when I was doing my studies in Switzerland, between 16 and 20, I actually became an usher. So I was an usher in a movie theater called Splendid in Bern, Switzerland. And the only reason why I was an usher, it was so I would get a free card, a free pass, and I could see every movie I wanted. I saw every bloody movie. That was kind of like my escape, going to the movie theaters. And then in my 20s, I got into the modeling world. So I never had the idea. I never really thought about being an actor because it just felt like so far away. Other people do that. But then I think we've talked about this before, maybe in our other interviews. In my later 20s, about 25, 26, I got the opportunity to do a commercial in New York, directed by Bruce Weber, that Jean-Claude Van Damme starred in. And I had my first introduction to do like a little fight scene on screen with Van Damme for a TV commercial. And I was hooked. I was like, that's what I got to do in my life. That's my destiny,
Absolutely. Now, I just interviewed Scott Adkins actually for Prison of War that he did just a month ago, and we were talking about him being injured all the time. Like he's been injured like so many times on set, and he actually got injured on the first day of shooting Prison of War, and they kind of had to rechange the way they did the fights and everything. Which again, I thought it made it better because it was like more savage and brutal. But has there ever been situations on set where you were like nursing a major injury and you just had to like keep trucking along and or had to alter it in some way because of it? Or have you been lucky and you're like, nah, I've been able to do it?
All the time.
Oh, yes. What was your major, like the biggest injury you had where you're on a movie, you're filming, and you're like, man, I just got to keep going? What was like the biggest one you ever experienced?
I mean, look, in the world I am, like I work a lot in the stunt world as well.
Yep.
Those guys are tough as nails. You know, I'm not as tough as those guys, but just think about this: when you do a fight scene, you just got to continue. I mean, I've pulled muscles. I've done fight scene with full-blown pulled hamstrings, or torn calves, or torn hip flexors. I mean,
I know, right? He's talking about doing a fight with a torn ACL. I'm like, I wouldn't be able to get out of bed, and this guy's over, or you're over here like doing kicks and like throwing people around and stuff.
Well, I mean, it's depending. I mean, that's a little bit different. If you have like a torn ACL, it's rough. I mean, you can wrap it up, and that's hard because if you have no stabilization, if your knees are not stabilized, that's really hard to kick. But mine were mostly. I mean, I had meniscus surgery, so that was kind of rough. But like torn hamstrings, bad shoulder. It's just you never do a fight scene 100%. I would say if I'm 70 to 75% for fight scene, that's a good day.
So, well, listen, you at 70% is probably everybody else is 100%. You know?
This is like 70 to 75%. That's great. I don't remember ever being more than 8 is probably the max.
So you're telling me you never filmed the fight scene where you're at your like 100%? There was always something going on.
There's always something, but it's okay. But we learn, you know, we've been doing this for so long. You learn how to work around it. Like there was one fight scene where I tore my hamstring in the middle of the fight, and we just had to re-choreograph. And we came back the next day, and we had to re-choreograph the fight scene. So instead of doing all kicks, I just did all punches. You could never tell. You would never know.
Absolutely. Well, listen, like it's the same thing, like talking to him or talking to Marco or any of these guys. It's like they say the same thing. But yeah, it's like that's how legit you guys are, because like the things you can do. Like I said, I'd be in bed being like, you know, I'm like I had shoulder surgery 3 times, 1 on this one, 2 on this one, and I was just like,
But what did you play? What sports did you do that both shoulders are so messed up?
I'm a martial artist too, sir. I've been doing it for since I saw Perfect Weapon with Jeff Speakman, and I was like, "Yep, I've been doing Kempo ever since."
But then, why your shoulder so bad?
Well, just like from doing it so long. The biggest one I had, and this was just a couple years ago, was my dog. I was walking my dog, and he pulled.
And he went like this.
Yep, and I went flying onto the concrete, and my wife at the time was like, because I got up and my shoulders like over here, and I'm like, I don't think I'm okay. So yeah, that was the biggest one. I had a torn rotator, torn labrum, and my bicep is not really connected anymore. But,
okay.
Yeah. So yep. So I feel you.
Yeah, I had that too. A separated shoulder, which never really. It's not terrible. It's just when I do this, it's just like.
Yeah. If I have my arm in the air for a long time, I'm like, it feels like 100 pounds. So I'm like, I gotta drop it. So,
but what I've learned is self-care, and I just do a lot of rehab, like everything, like, you know, these exercises, I do them every day for my shoulder. My neck got really messed up. I did a ratchet in a TV show, which is the dumbest thing you could do. My neck got so messed up. I have 2 slip discs. Both of my hip flexors are not great. I had a really bad hip flexor injury on Matrix Reloaded. That never really, it was so bad. It never really healed 100%. It always comes back. And then, you know, knees. My left knee is messed up from kicking for 40 years. My right knee is actually not so bad, knock on wood. And then, you know, calf messed up, and both hamstrings are a little. But like I said, you just learn you have to do rehab. I do rehab all the time. I do rehab. Too, yeah. I do a film, I go right into rehab. We're like pro athletes, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And and doing the martial arts, like, you know, of course, like there's times where I just got to stop and just kind of like, you know, let it rest and stuff like that. But it helps. It helps the process and just keeping it moving and everything. Right. So yeah. All right. So I'm gonna let you go here in a couple minutes, and don't hang up after we stop recording, because I just want to talk to you a little bit off camera for a second. But I just want to give you a shout out for some of the other things. You did Afterburn recently with Dave Bautista, again, JJ Perry. So
JJ Perry, my dear friend. It was actually a very good movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's an awesome film.
Yes, I'm going to do a piece about it myself. So again, you know, you're the henchman. You're the big you're the guy behind the guy, and you got a rocket launcher, which was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty bad. I thought that was pretty bad. And then you did a little. This was more of a little independent. You did the last gunfight. I enjoyed that one too. That was James Bamford. We mentioned him.
Good friend of mine. Yeah, dear friend of mine. That's
I love. And the Reverend, I loved your character.
That's a cool character.
Yeah, just real quick, talk about that because that was kind of cool.
It was just fun. It was a film produced by Stephen Paul. My buddy James Bamford directed it. I was invited to come and join. There's a lot of great talent in it. They brought in a lot of action people. And my dear friend Stani, who's a second unit director, he took over the action. And Ratza shot it, and we did all these one-ers and slow motion and ramping. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it came
I'm
out.
I'm actually doing a film for the same people right now. I'm working with James right now, and they're going to do a little screening of the film because I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, that's cool. Like I said, it wasn't on my radar, and then I got the PR email, and I was like, "What is this?" And then I saw your name was attached. I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "I gotta really check." Not that I would have checked it out before, but when you're involved, and then I watched the trailer. That they got to watch it because I love your character in it because it's kind of like a like a little tongue in cheeky. Like you're a reverend. You're like a badass assassin reverend. It's fun. Now, before I let you go, sir, is there anything on the horizon that you can talk about? I mean,
I did an amazing film, and I could just mention what it is. I had the huge pleasure to work with my dear friend Sam Hargrave, who I actually haven't mentioned before. I'm a huge fan of him. He is just unbelievable. I did Extraction 2 with him, which he killed. He has a TV show out right now called Last Frontier, which I just watched, which is very, very good. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
Yes,
he invited me to do Matchbox with him.
I was going to ask you about that because I was looking at your IMDb, and I'm like, and of course, is that John Cena that's going to be?
Yeah, John Cena.
Yeah. So I'm sure you probably really can't talk about that, but
no, I don't want to talk about it yet.
Yeah.
When the movie comes out, we'll do this again.
Oh, of course. And
we'll talk properly. You have my email, right?
I do have your email.
Okay.
Of course I do. That's how I reached out to you for the first time.
Yeah, I know. But I think it took us a long time to connect, right?
It did. It does. And I get it. You're a busy guy, but listen, I can't. I always talk you up.
Yeah. Don't be mad if I don't get back to you right away. Just
no. Well, it was funny though because I emailed you about doing I think it was for Ballerina or Afterburn or just to talk about those, and I knew Deathstalker was coming, and then you emailed me back and you were like, I got some time now, and then I was like, awesome. Then I emailed you back and I was like, crickets. I'm like, oh shoot, I think I missed the opportunity. But no, I know you're a busy guy. I know, but I just love it that I can reach out to you and you're so personable, and then listen, this is like Christmas for me. I'm such a fan of action cinema and you guys, and growing up watching. I don't want to make either of us sound old, but just growing up and True Vengeance. I mean, that's one of the best independent action movies ever made, and they need to give that a legit release on.
So I'm so glad you're saying this.
Oh, okay. Yes.
A lot of other people said the same thing. So I'm working on trying to get that re-released.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm working on it, but I don't know if we can because it was such a long time ago. We got to find a negative. We got to remaster it. So this is something I'm actually working on, and I would love to do a remake of that or a sequel.
Yes, because
30 years later.
I got my copy is I had bought because you worked at a video store at the time. My cousin owned a video store, and I got all the movies, and I burned it onto DVD so that way it would last longer. So that's the copy that I have. But I made the box art, I put it in a sleeve and everything. So so that's how I have it. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
I'll work on that. But let me know if you wanna interview James Bamford or JJ. I can put you in touch.
I want to interview everybody, sir. Everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
So reach out to me, but maybe I'm off. I'm off in about 4 or 5 days. But email me now, and then maybe email me again on the 22nd. I'm off again, and I'll connect you with those people.
Absolutely. And then again, Nina Berkman, who's also in Deathstalker, And again, let me just say, she should have been in the movie more. Again, a little nitpick.
Right.
But, yeah. But I would have loved to have seen your your on-screen chemistry. You know,
Right.
Like having her be like a thorn in your side type of thing. So yeah, so that it sounds
that'd be amazing. That could be a prequel. It could be a prequel. You know.
Absolutely.
Could
All
be
right.
a prequel.
Well, again, don't hang up once I stop recording because I want to talk to you off. All right, but I can't thank you enough. This has been awesome. Like I said, Deathstalker is if you're a fan of these sword and sorcery, sword and sandal, over the top gore, Daniel Bernhardt doing martial arts and sword fighting and heads getting ripped off, and this is legit. This is like by far top 5 action cinema for 2025, my friend. I'm going to just put that out there right now. So I want to thank you enough for joining me. I want to thank everybody else that watches this. Thank you, and continue to support independent action cinema, any type of action cinema, because it's our support that allows you guys to do what you do. Correct? Yep. So thank you so much. And again, I keep saying thank you, but that's how I just can't.
So good. You help us, get the movie seen. That's important.
Absolutely. All right. So for everybody, this is John with the ACTION-FLIX podcast and ACTIONFLIX.com with Daniel Bernhardt, the action martial arts legend himself. And when you get a chance, go see Deathstalker. It is legit. And until then, everybody, remember, be nice until it's time to not be nice. All right. Take it easy, guys.